Hey everybody, I have a video here for you today, and I'd just like to say welcome to all my new subscribers, and this will just be a good example of what you can expect from my channel. And I am right in the middle of a series where I'm looking at all the pyramids in Egypt, and my videos aren't the most well-made videos, but I just like to put a lot of information into the little time I have for making these videos. But we're going to look at today at the Pyramid of Meidum. I think that's how you pronounce it, and pronunciation isn't one of my stronger points. But this is a fascinating pyramid, and I think the view from overhead tells a story. And this is accredited to Snefru of the 4th dynasty. And they say he also built the Red Pyramid and the Ben Pyramid. This one pharaoh built 3 different pyramids, so that's all up for speculation. But you can clearly see on this view from overhead what was originally here. Clearly what is on top here is more current than what was originally here. And what was originally here, I find this to be a huge mystery. And it appears this original pyramid, and they say this could have been as big as the Great Pyramid, was built on a base, and you can clearly see a large base, and I bet you this is made with huge granite blocks, just as up at the Great Pyramid and a few of the other sites that look really old. But this is clearly built on some massive structure. And they say that there is a causeway and a valley temple has never been found, and that was according to a couple articles that I read. But here is a causeway, surely leading down to what would be a valley temple down here. And what I find most fascinating about this area down here is it looks like down here this area was carved out, rock was removed from the site and kind of filled in, and there appears to be a temple right in front of it, just as the Sphinx temple appears off the causeway coming off the pyramid up at Giza. Was there a large monument in here at one time in very, very ancient times? Well, it looks like not much has been dug, and articles say a valley temple has never been found. Well, it's clearly there. And there is a causeway, just as all very ancient structures, leading down to a shoreline when the Nile River was massive, from ancient shoreline to ancient shoreline. And according to geology, that was 9600 BC, around that time. But I think this is a fascinating look. Now from overhead, we're going to take kind of a 3D look here. But this is the Pyramid of Meidum, attributed to the 4th dynasty, Snefru. Apparently he built 3 pyramids, a very ambitious pharaoh, according to Egyptologists. But there you get a good look, clearly going down to an ancient shoreline. And up here, sometimes I think some of these things cut into the shore where we have perfect geometry leading off of the ancient Nile riverbed. Where we have perfect geometry in some areas, I think those are ancient harbors. That's just my opinion. I might be wrong, but then again, I might be right. But here you can see this one coming down here, perfectly aligned to the spring equinox sunrise, but clearly a very, very ancient structure with something more modern built on top. And now we're going to go take a look at a few pics. Now here, this is about the earliest pic I could find. And of course this just looks strange. What was originally here, and some of this material, is stuff that we knew that they were building with in ancient Egypt, but clearly it looks like the Egyptians came on and just put their work on top of a very ancient structure that could have been very important by the looks of it from overhead on Google Earth. Here is a look at just a very corner that is excavated. Here you have perfectly smooth blocks of facing down at the bottom, and then overhead you have the blocks on top, and that looks a lot what we have up at Giza. Looks very similar. Entrance on the north side just up at Giza that is elevated about the same height as the Pyramid of Giza, and then up on top clearly a much more modern structure. And in this pic, I think this is called the Facade of the Palaces, and this is just nearby. And this is Ancient Egypt Online, the Pyramid of Meidum. and that's the way I'll pronounce it this time. I'll probably do it about 4 or 5 different ways in this video. I'll just read a little bit here. It says, the pyramid of Meidum is often known as the collapsed pyramid because of its ruined state. By the 15th century, the Egyptian historian El-Makrizi recorded that only 5 steps remained, and by the time it was surveyed by Napoleon's men, only 3 steps were still in place. It was known as El Haram El Kadab, or the false pyramid in Arabic, because it now barely resembles a pyramid. Then going on here, it says it was originally designed as a 7-step pyramid, with a further step being added once construction was in a fairly advanced stage, and then it was turned into the first true pyramid by filling in the steps and capping them with limestone. Well, that is just a theory, I guess, that we should, consider. And here, sorry about that, I should turn my phone off when I do videos, but here is the inside chamber, resembling many other very ancient structures in Egypt with this corbelled ceiling. Now, one of those early explorers that talks about here, it says, when Maspero first entered the burial chamber, he found ropes and beams, which he thought may have been left by tomb robbers. Others suggested they related to a burial in the pyramid, but no sarcophagus was found inside the chamber, and there is no evidence that Senefru or anyone else was ever buried in this pyramid. Petrie recorded finding the remains of a wooden coffin, possibly dating to the Old Kingdom, but he provided no specific evidence of this, and his notes are a little confused on the matter. So there is some question on Petrie, and he's just an explorer of ancient Egypt, but his notes on the site, but he said a wooden coffin was found, and that possibly dated to the Old Kingdom. It goes on to say this. There was also a causeway cut into the bedrock and paved with limestone, but this is largely ruined. It would most likely have run around 200 meters to connect with the valley temple at the edge of the Nile, but due to the marshy nature of the ground and high water level, no evidence of this valley temple has been found. I showed you on Google Earth, it's clearly there. And just going on here, it says when the pyramid was complete, it is estimated its proportions were similar to those of the Great Pyramid, but it is likely that the pyramid began to crumble during the reign of Seneferu, and that may have contributed to his decision to alter the angle of his pyramid at Dashur in mid-construction, and that's the Ben Pyramid they talk about. These pyramids look nothing alike, the Ben Pyramid and this one down here, nothing alike. Now here is another website, I will leave a link to it, and here is Senefru, and this is just another spelling of his name, and there are different ways to pronounce it slightly, I guess. But this pyramid, I guess, was named Senefru or Seneferu Endures, and nothing connecting him inside of this pyramid, but there are building smaller little temples outside that clearly him and his sons were building at. Here's the pic. Here is the guesstimation of what this may have originally looked like, with the steps and possibly an original structure here at one time. 2 totally different building time periods, 2 totally different eras in history, if you ask me. Now this is the look overhead, and I think what is the bigger mystery here is this structure right here. Clearly this is an ancient structure built on top of a huge, massive platform, just like up at Giza. But I think the big mystery is this right here. I think this is called Mastaba M17. This is larger than a football field. A massive shaft cut into the center of it. It looks just like that unfinished pyramid up there, what they call the Pyramid of Baka, that was covered up by the Egyptian government and filled with trash. That is exactly what that looks like. And I will leave a couple links below, but you can clearly see at the base of this, those stones look exactly like the unfinished pyramid. I just wanted to mention that. Now let's just jump over to a book here, and this is called Following Osiris Perspectives on the Osirian Afterlife from the 4th Millennium. And it says here, the earliest known sarcophagus of Aswan granite was made for the owner of Mastaba M17 at Meidum. Now, the oldest known red granite sarcophagus came from the owner of this place, well, that seals the deal. This place is super ancient, possibly as old as the Great Pyramid. The nearby pyramid of Meidum is clearly built with a more modern structure on top of a very, very ancient structure that matches other pyramids we have, especially the ones up at Giza. Now, this is the inside of what they just generically call Mastaba M17, but to me, from overhead and inside, it looks very ancient and very important. And my intuition radar was just spinning when I first saw this. Huge, massive granite blocks that make up the flooring of this passageway. This just looks very strange and very ancient to me. That's just my opinion. And here, this is a video I found on this site, and this comes from Vlad9VT and his channel. I have just discovered it within the last month, and he makes a lot of cool videos on some pretty important ancient sites, so I'll leave the link to this video below. And this must be the sarcophagus that was found in this generically named Mastaba that is clearly identical to that covered up pyramid just to the north, but this is the oldest red granite sarcophagus in Egypt. Is it in a pyramid? No, it's in a thing they call Mastaba M17. Well, it's just not a Mastaba, that's just ruined and forgotten about. This is a hugely important pyramid or something, and this is it from overhead. And remember the description of the pyramid to the north of Baka, that it was almost a parallelogram. Well, this looks almost identical to it from overhead, and the blocks that are uncovered at the base of this are very dark, and they look just like that unfinished pyramid here now and at Abu Sir. But I think that is all the time I have. That is the huge Mastaba, the huge mystery Mastaba M17. Looks just like the unfinished pyramid to the north. This is the pyramid at Meidum. Clearly a much more modern structure built on top of a huge, massive platform that a pyramid in very ancient times could have been as big as the Great Pyramid. That's about all the time I have. These pyramids are pretty fascinating stuff. Hope you thought that was interesting, and you all have a very nice day.